I'm Amanda Colburn, and thank you for joining us today for this short presentation for nonprofit organizations who are seeking capital outlay funding for the 2019 legislative session. With me today, I have Clay Campbell, the Chief of Staff for Bernalillo County. Thank you for joining us, Clay.
Thank you for having me, Amanda.
So I am very new to this position. I'm a Special Projects Coordinator for the Community Services Division, and I've recently taken on the nonprofit organization capital outlay program, assisting with that. Can you tell me a little bit about how Bernalillo County works with nonprofits in regards to capital outlay funding?
Sure, Amanda. The state of New Mexico gives capital outlay grants to local governments each year for a variety of capital projects. And when we talk about capital projects, we're talking about something with a lifespan of 10 years or more, a building, big equipment, things like that. And so Bernalillo County works with nonprofits who are far enough along in their planning for their project, and we are willing to take on their project with money that they get from the state of New Mexico capital outlay funding. We not only administer it, but we have to own the capital improvement. And so this is one way where communities, cities, counties, villages, towns in New Mexico get capital money for roads, drainage facilities, parks, et cetera. And it is possible for nonprofits to tap into that, but they have to have a local government partner with whom to work and who can take on the money and administer it from the state, but who also, according to state law, has to own the actual capital improvement. So some nonprofits are willing to work with local governments in that capacity, but some aren't. And so what we're here today to talk about is the first step in a two-step process of working with the local government to decide if your project as a nonprofit is meets Bernalillo County standards and is something that Bernalillo County is willing to take on to work with you during the legislative session 2019 to try and obtain capital funding for a nonprofit project. That's what this is about. There are some nonprofits out there whose projects aren't in our purview, and so we don't want to take them on. And some of those nonprofits don't want Bernalillo County to actually own the improvement. So we really don't want to work with groups that have experience, who have some capacity, and who are willing to let Bernalillo County own the improvement that they're trying to obtain.
All right. So there's definitely a process in the, for this project.
Yes, there is. And so the New Mexico State Legislature meets every year in the winter. And so right now, Bernalillo County is gearing up in summer of 2018 for the winter of 2019 legislative session. And so what we're doing, Amanda and I will be taking applications from nonprofits that will be due to us July 16th. And it's a simple 4 forms, really short forms that are online on the county's webpage. And everything we talk about today in this video presentation is available online. These forms I'm about to describe, as well as some background information in a PowerPoint video that are online that people should take a look at before they submit to Bernalillo County. But the first step is for us to vet the nonprofit organization. A nonprofit organization has to be an official 501c3 group. They have to have some internal administrative capacity to do a project with the county. They have to have some forethought in terms of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, and what they're seeking. What we don't want to do is get into a partnership with a group that doesn't have a plan. We need to work with somebody who's got a plan, who's thought through what they're trying to do, and who has decided, and Bernalillo County is in agreement with that, the county and the nonprofit would be a good partner to work in tandem with on a project.
So the nonprofit completes our packet. They submit it to us by July 16th.
Right.
And then we will vet them.
Correct.
Go through them, present the nonprofit organizations that have been selected
To our CIP committee.
to our CIP committee. And then from there, what's the next step? So where does it go in the fall?
Sure. So just last year in 2017, I think we had about 15 applications from nonprofits, and 7 of them we accepted because the work they were doing was consistent with our mission, and it was sometimes in buildings that we already owned. The purpose of the vetting is just to make sure, like I said, that it's going to be a good fit. What happens after the county agrees to work with the nonprofit is that we will include the request of the nonprofit in what the county submits in early September to the state, which is our updated list of the infrastructure capital improvement plan projects that we have on our inventory. And that inclusion is a prerequisite for getting money from the state the following January. Once the county agrees to work with a nonprofit, then the second stage kicks in, and that's what the nonprofit has to do at the end of calendar year 2018, early 2019, and they have to go online to the state legislature webpage and fill out the state's capital outlay request form, which is separate from the county's form. And that form has to be signed by legislators who's going to sponsor the capital outlay appropriation. And that form will also have the language that literally goes into the capital outlay bill. So Amanda and I are happy to work with any nonprofit with whom we do work with this fall, who we agree to take on honing in and really refining the language to make sure it addresses what you need. So first step is to submit something to us on our prescribed forms by July 16th. We'll let you know by late August if in fact we've agreed to take you on or not. Then the fall comes, and that's when nonprofits need to be cultivating support with their legislators, sponsors, so that they can get a signature on this capital outlay form. Mm-hmm. And then the nonprofits are responsible during the legislative session for doing their own lobbying. Bernalillo County won't be doing lobbying on their behalf. But what we will do is we will include your project on our resolution that our commission passes, and that's proof that we are willing to take on your project. And we have to own your capital improvement as a condition of getting the money from the state of New Mexico. And so then the session begins, and if it's included in the capital outlay bill and survives the governor's veto, great. Then there's money coming to the nonprofit. And what we do after that's a whole other topic. But this video today is really just to talk about nonprofits. Here we are in the summer of 2018, looking ahead to the legislative session in 2019 and taking the steps now to prepare for that legislative session.
Okay. And so the funding itself, it comes through the county and then used to buy the capital improvements, the capital items for the nonprofit, and the county does have ownership of these items.
Correct.
Once purchased.
Correct. Right, and there's a state anti-donation clause that basically says you can't use public money for private benefit. So that's why the state doesn't give capital outlay money directly to nonprofits. They have to go through a local government.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, so we have the upcoming forms due. Our packet is due July 16th.
Yes.
And then from there, we will vet them and then present them to the Capital Improvement Committee.
Right.
Present them to the commission in ours, and
Yep.
then we start the process for those selected to go through the legislative session.
Right, exactly. So we've skimmed over the overall process right now, and so we're really encouraging all nonprofits to go online to www.bernco.gov/CIP and look at the 4-page document that Amanda and I put together, which is tell us about your project, tell us basic information about it, tell us how much you're asking for, tell us how much master planning you've done, tell us about previous contracts you've had with Bernalillo County. That's step one. That's what she and I will vet. We'll make recommendations to the CIP committee, and then there's also a PowerPoint presentation that gives a lot more background and touches upon some of the details that we've addressed here, and that will give the nonprofit some background as to why we're doing things the way we're doing it. By August, we will let you know if we've agreed to take you on, and we'll talk more in detail with groups individually about what the fall should entail with lining up support from their legislator sponsors.
And if the nonprofit has any questions for us, they can reach out directly. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We welcome talking to nonprofits. We've worked with them from Little League Baseball to battered women's shelters to child care facilities to other groups that deal with seniors. So Bernalillo County very much recognizes the value of what nonprofits provide to the community. They provide services and programs that we cannot. So it's in our interest and in everybody's interest to work cooperatively and synergistically so that we can provide the best services and programs possible to the public.
Excellent. So thank you so much for taking your time today to listen to our short presentation here. If you need to reach out directly, you can reach me, Amanda Colburn, at 468-7237, and you can reach out to Clay at
468-7309. And we do look forward to talking to you, and we're happy to talk to you about any of these items that we've addressed today that you wish.